Hey, welcome everybody to another episode of Tech Tip Tuesday. I'm your host, Ken Close, and I'm joined by my co-host, awesome Jake Barron from Head of Operations. Hi, Jake.
Hey, Ken. Hello, everyone today.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. And we've got our tech support guru in the background. Who's with us tonight, Jake?
We've got Dongmi helping out in the chat. So thank you so much, Dongmi, for helping us out today.
Hey, everybody say hello to Dongni back there with the magical fingers helping us out. So my name is, again, like I said, it's Ken Close. I'm a member just like most of you guys joining tonight. I've been with Healy for, gosh, seems like 100,000 years, but only 3 short years for human days. Time tends to fly when you're with Healy, and I love it. Anyway, so my background is in engineering. I've been diving deep into the technology of how Healy works, the apps, and many of the philosophies around Healy. So we're joined tonight with our operations guys and our customer service guys, and we're going to help you guys understand a little bit more. So what this is a chat-based forum where you guys put your questions in the chat. We will pull them to the live Zoom here, and we'll unpack them, we'll solve them, and we'll come up with solutions. Even sometimes we tend to elongate some of the answers so that you get a very deep understanding. What we can't do is we can't talk about diseases, disorders, prevention, or diagnosis because we're not medical professionals, and so that's not what we do. So let's keep it to either the apps, the function of the Healy, or the problems you're having with the Healy. Sometimes we talk about the back office, but not too often. How's that sound? Sound fun?
Sounds perfect.
All right, let's get this ball rolling. Let's see what we got. Anything already in the...
Well, we had a great question from Pam. Any exciting news from the homecoming? Yes, but we're not going to cover that on this call. So tomorrow on What's Up Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to do a recap of some of the exciting things that were covered or announced during our homecoming event. So please join us for that call. And if for some reason you can't make that call, just like this call as well, the recordings are added to our YouTube channel at HealyAmericas.com.
So What's Up Wednesday, tune in at 10 a.m. Pacific and 1 p.m. Eastern, wherever you are, somewhere in between. And by the way, the link is on the Team Healy USA Telegram page. So grab it there, or you can find it under the virtual events within your shop page. Okay, so go there. All of the cool things that we do, all the corporate stuff that's done virtually or live, all those events are there with the links, all that kind of stuff. So definitely go take a peek. All right, let's see what we have here. So Sharon says, on the Resonance app, how does it work on buildings? I love these kind of questions because it's really, sometimes it tends to be a little bit of a stretch for folks to understand that pretty much everything is energy. And so when we are interfacing from the Healy itself, and what Healy has essentially is the quantum sensor is the ability to interface at the electron level. So electrons are what everything's made out of, because again, everything is energy. And so when we put in a client within the Resonance app, a client essentially is a identification in space and time. So if you can identify something in space and time, then we can address it, whether it's a body, right? With that body being a human or an animal, or it be a plant, or it be a building, or some other device such as a car, right? Or anything that consumes space and time. Now that pretty much incorporates everything, doesn't it? So when you place a building within the client database of the app, it's going to ask you different questions than if it is a human, or if it is a pet, or if it is a plant, right? It's going to ask you different questions. Things such as the address. What we want to pinpoint the coordinates of this entity, aka client. We want to pinpoint the coordinates, and the coordinates essentially negate every other possibility in the universe. So the more precise you are in putting in the coordinates, aka the information around within the client list, then the better it gets at pinpointing that particular building. And then when it does a scan, because remember, part of the client database is to actually take an energetic reading of the client, aka building. So when it takes that reading, it's quantum entangled with the content that you put in the app, and even your intention, right? Your intention by placing your attention on the building and the proximity of the Healy. Now, you don't have to have the Healy right there in the building, but you can put your attention on the building, and wherever you place your attention is where you place your energy. So the Healy's energy is there, your attention's there, and now we're getting a reading from the building. Okay, and then from that point, you're just evaluating the building's needs, alignments based on the database in which you choose to do the different scans from. Okay, so it's all about quantum entanglement. And we did a great Healy for Beginners and Beyond around quantum entanglement. That's on the YouTube page under the Healy for Beginners and Beyond channel, I guess. Is it a channel or just
playlist?
Playlist. Yeah, playlist. Yeah, it's there. And so take a peek.
Yeah.
All right. Hopefully that helps.
Definitely.
Okay.
We got a good question here from Barbara. So is it possible to program the Healy to use, it looks like, specific frequencies, 92 hertz, 0.3 hertz, etc.? So you as a Healy user can't program the Healy to do certain frequencies like that. But I guess this kind of leads into a question about any expert programs that a therapist, a time waver therapist, could possibly program for you or send to your device. So I'm not a time waver therapist. Ken, I don't know if you have any experience of how that actually works. I know they can create custom programs, and there's a whole massive database of things. As far as, I don't know if you can just send one specific frequency or not, but I think there's a ton of customization available within that.
Yeah, actually, a time waver practitioner can install specific frequencies, basically make you a program, a customized program with specific frequencies that you choose. So yeah, you can. And in fact, there are certain frequencies that the optic nerve can view. And it's very interesting that you can actually create maybe a time waver program that would just transmit certain frequencies for a certain duration of time. And you could show someone how a frequency is actually truly being transmitted, or I guess give validation that a frequency is truly being transmitted from the Healy device. And the optic nerve will pick that up. But yeah, I see there's some specific frequencies that you've listed here, 92 hertz or 0.3 hertz, etc. Yes, they can create that. All you do is contact a time waver practitioner, tell them what you want. You can tell them the duration in which you want it to be transmitted. You can make, they can make a customized design for you. Yeah, doable. The way to find a time waver practitioner is you can Google that. Put in time waver practitioner, right? And there's ones that are listed all over the world.
Yeah, we're not going to make any specific recommendations on this call, but feel free to do your own research there. So
yeah, exactly. Okay. Is it possible to use the same app for two different accounts? Well, so Bonnie asks about the app. So here, the apps are just essentially just, they're just kind of slave devices, right? The app itself is just an app. It's just a program. And until it connects to a Healy, it really doesn't do anything. And the way it connects to a Healy is different between the pink app, the Healy 2 app, by scanning the QR code on the back of the Healy or by manually inputting the serial number. Then it connects to whatever that particular Healy has as far as an edition, right? Whatever was purchased. The other app, the Resonance app, the blue app, that one, same kind of thing. You log into it with your account. You log in it with your account credentials. So you can use the same app on, it's the same app on multiple devices, multiple smart devices, across multiple accounts. It's the Healy that actually activates the app itself.
Yeah, I mean, just keep in mind, of course, it's pretty easy with the Healy 2 app, the pink app, but with the Analyze app, every time you switch from accounts, it's going to ask you to verify that information too after you log in. So it's ideally you'd have 2 different devices with the app if you're using it with different persons. So it's definitely possible, though. You just have to keep in mind you're going to have to keep switching for the ones that require you to log in.
Yeah, and when you do log in, there's a synchronization process, right? That's going to ask you. It's going to need a data stream avenue of some sort, whether it be a Wi-Fi or your cellular network somewhere like that to be able to transmit. So switching from one to another within the blue app is a little more involved than the pink app.
Still perfectly possible to do so. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so Pam is asking, if you are sending frequencies to someone who doesn't know, does that affect how his body accepts it or her, right? So this is a great question, because when we're working within energy, information field, and frequency, by the way, the radio tower, just take a look in your community. The radio station tower up on a hill somewhere near you. If you're able to tune into a radio station of any kind, AM, FM, whatever, even satellite, if you're able to tune into a radio station or a television station, that means that there is an invisible signal being sent to a receiver that your electronics is decoding. Now, I'll ask you this. Did they ask permission for that signal to be transmitted to your body? No, they didn't, did they? But that radio signal is still being received by your body because the body is a walking, talking antenna. The person that you're sending frequencies to from Healy, there may not be permission. The ethical thing to do is to ask permission, because the reception of these bodies is higher when you as a mind and the physical mass of the body are in sync with permission, allowance, the law of allowance. There is a universal law of allowance. And I'm going to tell you a little secret here. You know how we recommend that you moisten your wristbands or put some sort of conductive gel on them, and then you put them on your body, and then you run the microcurrent. We also recommend that you're hydrated in the body, right? You have proper electrolytes and hydration. And even still, with people who do that, there are some people who just can't seem to get that frequency transmission through. So I'm going to give you a little hint. Sometimes there's such a highly resistive attitude, personality, or belief structure within a person that's actually resisting the flow of this modality through the body. So it's good to get the permission of the ones that you're sending this to. And if they have a resistive personality, it's a very good idea to start to coach or to speak or to fall in love with them enough to say, look, I want this for you. If you can allow this to happen, you may find some healing going on in your body. So this allowance, this law of allowance, is something that we really need to look at, because I've had more than one person come to me and say, I just can't get my teammate to get conductivity when we hook them up to the pink dot. And so when I interview the teammate, I find a lot of fear. I find a lot of resistance. I find a lot of pushback from their attitude, from their personality. And when we get beyond that pushback, all of a sudden it works. Right? So, all right. We have, so again, I would definitely get their permission, get them on board, if they're unconscious, then send them the healing energy right? They'll thank you for it later. I got a hi here from Mexico.
Hello.
Hello, Mexico. Welcome.
We had a whole big group of people from Mexico at our homecoming event, so they're very well represented over here in Orlando. It was awesome.
I love it, boy. Those folks from Mexico, they're just like woohoo, party time, right? I love it. All right, let's see.
Okay.
So Izzy's got a question about the beta app. Since the last update, there is a blue Google looking share button at the bottom, but it doesn't do anything. On the bottom of your app on your phone, or on the bottom where? I mean, a share button.
Yeah, I had not seen anything like that, so I was looking through my app. I still don't see anything. So I wonder, Izzy, are you using an Android device or an iOS device? I'm just curious because we're still in the beta phase here with both of those. I'm curious if there's at the top left of the app.
Yeah,
And
I don't know.
you can move it around. If you can move it around, I don't think it's part of the app itself. That sounds like something on your smartphone, maybe like some sort of widget that's installed that's overlaying on top of the app. And especially if it looks like a Google thing, maybe there's a sort of a search widget installed, because I don't know of any feature in the new Analyze app that you can move around inside the app itself.
Yeah, it does sound like a widget. Like if there was some kind of an update on your software, and and you made an allowance for some widget or something.
It's only in this app, and it appeared after the update a couple of weeks ago. It's interesting. I mean, I've not experienced this or seen this yet, but
take some screenshots and send that in to see it to customer service.
Curious.
Yeah, we want to need to see that. All right. Let's see. Well, so Patty's asking, what programs can we use for dental issues? We can't really give you recommendations there. Like I mentioned before at the beginning of the call, but we do have a search app, which is amazing, right? Everybody has. And you can go in there and put very specific things within the search bar. That is in the Healy Advisor app. You can kind of see that over here on my shoulder. It's the wavy line app right here, Healy Advisor app. Click on that, log in, and then there is a search function with a keyword bar. You put in there, and it's going to show you some content.
Yep.
Okay. Patty also has a question on the MagHealy. How long does the battery last without the port? In other words, probably being on the charger, right? Possible to maintain running. Let's see. I mean, infinite times when the atmosphere program does run for the battery. So the battery life is going to be based on how you have it set. So whether the lights are on or you're just running it in just transmit mode. If you're running the infinite, it's not going to run all night. So you're going to need to have it on the charging port for like those infinite ones that are running for hours and hours. Jake, has there been an average? Have you been getting reports about the average life of the battery on the MagHealy?
For how long? I mean, typically I haven't seen anything different from when we first launched it last summer, but it's around 4 hours or so.
Yeah.
And I mean, of course, that depends, with the intensity and if the lights are on or not, and things like that. But typically around 4 hours.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Another question about on that MagHealy. What does it mean when the green light, the small one at the base, blinks constantly? So that's normal. It's on, right? It's blinking constantly.
Yeah. And sometimes too, there's actually in the MagHealy manual, there's a little section about what the indicator lights mean, because if you have the MagHealy not quite right on the charger, that it can blink a certain pattern too. So just keep that in mind as well. You want to make sure once it's on the charging pad, that the green light is blinking on the actual MagHealy itself. Usually when you put it on the charger, it does like a left, right, left, right, left, right with the Bluetooth and the power button. But from there, that green light will come on. But yeah, again, we've always referred to the manual as far as the indicator lights go, because there's some specific things related to the charger, and especially the MagHealy, because some people are using the charger that came with it. Some people are using some other, wireless chargers that they might have in their house as well. Just keep that in mind.
And by the way, folks, if you guys are on your PC or your laptop, you want to save the chat, because again, there's some great links that are being put in there. You want to save that. There's three little dots down there below where you put in your chat message, three little dots next to the smiley face. Click on that. It's going to give you an option to save the chat at the end of the call. You'll get a little message to be able to save this. So it's good stuff here. Okay. All right. So Deborah is looking for some clarity. I've asked this question to multiple people in the Healy world. Let's see, all above you. And the question is, can a person who has a heart condition use the wristbands or the leads? I was told yes, as long as they do not have a pacemaker or any other implant device. Someone directed me to the warnings in the apps, and it confirms this.
So I can tell you right now, we're not going to tell you anything different on this call versus what's in the actual product guides itself. So,
yep.
If you're looking for someone to tell you different from what's in there, I understand, but it's not something we can't advise, because the warning is in there for a reason.
Yeah, just take a look at the warnings. Do they fall? Now, here's the next piece. The last piece of that is like, okay, partner with your doctor. Go to your doctor. That's the healthcare professionals, and say, here's what we want to do, and have them help you. But Healy has a very specific stance here.
Yeah, but keep in mind the coil doesn't have those contraindications, so you could use the coil in that situation.
Yep. Okay. So let's see here. Ken, when you talk about permission, if the person doesn't know about that he's receiving the frequencies and the intention we input, because sometimes we think it's what he needs is an effect, and it is as effective as if he decided the intention for Healy to read for. Okay, so if the person, if you're transmitting to a person, right, whether it be from the blue dot, I mean, you're running the analysis. What I would ask you is, okay, what's your intention? What would my intention be if I'm trying to help another human? My intention is to, of course, be of service. So, is this person not available for me to have a conversation with? Is this person resisting? If they're not resisting, why am I not having a conversation with them? In partnership with trying to help out with Healy. And I know some folks just maybe not going to get it. So you can certainly send information to people's field, but you've got to set them up as a client within the Resonance app or within the Aura app. Whatever way you're doing the scans or the analysis, you need to set them up as a client, right? Part of the client record is an energetic reading. And so are you getting that energetic reading? It's best to have their input so that their attention is on your intention. Make sense? Their attention is on your intention, so that this quantum entanglement winds up having no no ill will, no resistance, right? So again, whenever we're having some resistance around permission, it's time to look inward. Okay. Where do I find the manual? Let's see. Did anybody already put that in there? Talking about the manual for the
So, I mean, you can find it in Backoffice. There's instructions for use, but then also in the app itself, if you go to, so open up the Healy 2 app and go to the info center, you can find both the guide, which kind of talks about the app itself and the different programs, program groups, and then also the instructions for use, which is that bigger, well, it's actually not the bigger document, but that's the document that talks about some of the contraindications. So just follow what it says in there. Is really the best way to proceed.
Yeah, the cool thing about these apps is, well, you can't break them. So go ahead and go in there and look around, right? And there is a little gear icon at the bottom. You can click on that. You can take a look at settings. You can just scout around, and there's an information tab that's going to, it's got manuals. It's got how-tos. It's got some super cool things that are in there. And I always recommend that we spend about an hour a day, just kind of searching around what's in there. We tend to get comfortable with some process, like, okay, I'm comfortable with clicking this, and that, and nothing else. Okay, well, how about today we expand a little bit? We click on this, and that. So now we're going one extra button. We're doing a little extra investigating, and just expand that. So you'll find the manuals. All these apps have those in there for you. Okay. Izzy says, thanks for the advice. Okay, another question. The default time in the beta app has changed slightly from the blue app. Like 5 minutes, 57 seconds is now 6 minutes, 2 seconds. Is there a specific methodology for this default times? There's, I don't know personally what, say, Michael Dan's or some of the experts at Time Waver, or where Marcus is, in their engineers, in their minds. I don't know exactly why they're picking out certain defaults, but there are reasons for these certain times. There is a training that's all about the coaching module that talks about some of the times. We've talked about that here before, right, Jake? That training on the coaching module. It's like what, 10 minutes long, 10 something.
I think around that.
So if you haven't watched that, within the coaching module, it talks about, I think it's the last video on the list. Take a look at that one. It kind of gives a little background about these transmission times, as well as some other things, but it's a good listen. But I don't know why it would be changed personally. So there's a question about how about the booklet that came with Healy? Okay, so what came with your Healy is a little booklet. It's very basic. It's not as much as what you would find in the owner's manual, which is, I think, what, 40 some pages. There's a very small booklet in there that gives some statistics that are necessary for anything that connects to the body. So like input output voltages, frequency ranges. It gives I don't know, temperatures of operation, humidity. There's a lot of information in this little booklet, and it may be it's going to be more basic in terms of what comes with almost every electronic device out there. But that little booklet that comes in your kit, that's not going to really be a how-to manual. It's basic, but it's going to be less elaborate than what you're going to find in your within the app. Okay. All right. So let's see. There's a statement here. Okay. So thanks, Ken. It is clear the frequencies are harmless for him. but his attention entangled, as you said, to my intention. I think the difference, because he doesn't believe in the energy healing or alternative methods. Okay, so let me give you a little understanding about the power of the mind. The reason that every single drug study since the 70s has a portion of what's called the placebo effect attached to it. So there's a certain group of people that are given a placebo, an inert substance that has no effect chemically on the body, and then another group that's given the test drug. There's two groups, because when you're told something works and you believe it, there is a mental influence on the body's healing modality. And so that mental influence starts to have take hold and do part of the healing. It's part of the healing. So that's called the placebo effect. So when you believe in something, it is a healing in of the body itself based on your belief. The opposite side of that coin is called the nocebo effect. The nocebo effect is exactly the opposite. When you believe something is harmful, then it will have a harmful effect on the body. The power of the mind starts to change the energetic expression at the cellular level. So if somebody does not believe in a modality, there will be a natural negation or a lowering of the effectiveness. Doesn't matter if it is a chemical, a drug of some sort, or even a invasive surgery or Healy. It's going to, the mind itself is going to have such a influence on the outcome of this healing or whatever it is you're trying to achieve, that it can downregulate the effects. So keep that in mind. This is one of the reasons that I say that it's important that, you know, that we get some level of understanding and belief or acceptance with the persons that we're working with. Okay, it doesn't matter if somebody says, I don't believe in, I don't know, Tylenol, right, for curing my headache, and you give them Tylenol, there's going to have a lesser result from that chemical than if they believed in it. Okay. Anything you want to add there, Jake?
No, you got it there. Let's see.
Okay. So Izzy was saying it. I think I watched that one, so that's why I was curious as to why they would change it. Talking about watching that video around the coaching module and the meaning of those times. I get it. I don't know why either. All right. Let's see. What else we got? Let's see. So Dante's in there talking to Sharon. So talking about, okay. When you're talking to a new person about the Healy, how would you know what device to purchase? It's a great question, right? So there is some information on the various editions that we can share. I always ask people, well, first of all, when we're working with somebody, you know, the question should be about, or the listening should be from them. The question should be, how do I serve you? Allowing them to give them a blueprint of what they need or what they're trying to accomplish in their life, and see if what we know about Healy helps to solve that. How can we help solve someone's suffering, or offer them, not really solve, but offer them an option to what they're doing now? This is a great question. Well, you need to know a little bit about each of the editions yourself, don't you? But listening is a very, very good way of understanding a person, and before we try to match them with something that additions. I like to let someone else look at what we have to offer. Here's a great resource on the different editions. If they understand frequency energy or energy technology, that's great. If they don't, we have to start there. What do you know about energy or frequency energy alignments? What do we know about that?
Yeah, there's actually it's a newer document just in I think the last month or two, but if you go to your back office, actually, let me share my screen and I'll show you here. Okay. So if you go to your back office, and go to the download section, which is here, tools, downloads. And then if you go to, just a second here, and just click on presentation here, it's the type of document. There's a document down here called Editions Overview. And then if you click on this, it's going to bring up a PDF, which is a great document. And you'll see here, it goes through all the editions. So Gold, Holistic Residence, Residence Plus Professional. And it talks a little bit about each of them. Of course, there's a little chart here that shows the differences of what comes with each. And it goes through the documents, kind of what the purpose is of some of these modules. There's studies also for for a lot of the program groups too. So this is a great, again, if someone doesn't know, maybe they want to browse through this and see, okay, yeah, I could use this program or this program group or something like that. So they might be able to see from this document if there's one that kind of fits their needs to start with. And maybe they don't, it could be that they don't need the professional to start with. Maybe they just want to start with a residence or something else. And as they get more comfortable with the Healy, maybe do an upgrade later on as well. So this is a great place to start. Again, this is a newer document just in the last couple months that's available in back office. Again, there's a lot of great info and studies to support a lot of these things as well.
Constantly upgrading and updating and adding.
Yeah.
So Sharon's still talking about the booklet, right? Or no? Let's see.
Yeah. So again, I think.
Oh, Deborah.
She was kind of mentioning, I guess back in her original message, she said this person does not have any implants or a pacemaker. So they have this condition. And again, I guess they're maybe were using medication, but not as much now. But in this situation, again, go back to the Healy app manual itself. Actually, there's the instructions for use document, which we mentioned, but also the Healy app manual. And this is that Healy app manual. And again, if you're using Healy while taking medication, we recommend you have it checked by your doctor. And of course, it's always best if there's a sort of area where you're not sure, it's always best to check with your doctor before you start any sort of Healy program, that kind of thing. So, we're not here. We can't provide that type of medical device because everyone's condition is different, and we're not medical professionals here on this call. And I know you want an answer, yes or no, can they use it? But we're not the ones to be able to tell you that on this call, because it sounds like it's kind of, they have some sort of issues, but not quite. So again, I understand it's not necessarily 100% clear for you, but again, as Ken mentioned earlier, best to consult to bring your doctor into any sort of decision like this.
Yeah, definitely chat with your medical professionals. And I know what you're referring to in the booklet. Paragraph 2.3 is the contraindicators. I get it. And again, it even speaks about consulting with your medical professionals. I highly recommend that. All right. Okay, so Patty's getting the answer about where to find the manual, right? All right, that's good. And Jake just talked about, again, we talked about where it's at in the app. If you guys aren't sure about, if you've got this Healy 2 app right here, okay, at the bottom of the screen, there is there's some menu items along the bottom of the screen. There's one that says Info Center, right? And so you click on Info Center, and it's going to bring up some guides. There's a guide in there. I think, what's that guide page? I don't know how many pages are in there, but there's several. There's also an instructions for use. Okay, so those are great documents. Go through them. I often say, most of the time, as we change seasons, in the Pacific Northwest and some parts of the US or the world, the summertime gets hot. And so within our booklet, there's some guidelines about what the temperature range that Healy is to be operated in, humidity ranges, all that kind of stuff is available too, to take a look at within this info center. You can learn about your device and what parameters it can operate within, as well as how it interfaces with your body, like those condo indicators. Okay. What else? What else we got there, Jake? Anything else?
There was a question about the PDF document. Someone mentioned they had to get an Adobe account to download one of those. I mean, the PDF is a PDF, so I don't know if something possibly changed on their system itself, or their smartphone, or their computer, or something like that. But I don't think we've done anything on our end that's changed what's required to be able to download any of our PDF documents itself. So
a PDF, if you're a PDF is a certain format, it's got an extension after the dot, right? And so software to read a PDF, there's certain softwares that read those. A lot of the Word documents will read those. You won't be able to edit them. I mean, you have to download a PDF program in order to edit a PDF, but to read it is a different scenario.
Yeah, sometimes when you're using certain devices, it tries to force you to use a specific app to download the program, and you can kind of choose which app you want to use to open those types of files too. And sometimes it could be that that setting got reset somehow on your device, and your device is asking you what you want to use. But...
Yeah, I would look a little deeper, because again, sometimes a pop-up comes in as an attempt to sell you, a program of some sort. Okay. So Deborah says, yes, thank you. My point is about what the booklet says. That's all. And yeah, I get it. The booklet says this, and the manual says a little bit more. So you do have a doctor's appointment, so definitely bring it in, talk to him. All right. So Sharon asks, what do you consider pure water? I have well water, or alkaline. Are they considered pure? So yeah, there's a lot of variations. What do we consider pure water? And there's contaminants. Let's just put it this way. What's not pure water is water that has heavy metal in it. We could say more like what's not pure water versus maybe a concept of what someone thinks pure water is. So again, when we're looking at alkalized water, then there's certain things removed from alkalized water, right? To demineralize something. Is that pure water? Not necessarily, because a good source of water has minerals in it, right? It could have a lot of beneficial minerals in it. Again, what's not pure water is something with heavy additives, chemicals, chlorine, heavy metals of some sort. There's a lot of water handling systems that use heavy metals for sediment, because it's in a storage container tank of some sort within your community. So there's ways you can test water, right? Test it and see what's in there. If there's contaminants. So what's not pure water is water with contaminants in it. And that's chemistry. You don't want to be drinking chemicals. Okay.
Like this next comment here, a thumbs up to the quality of the Healy device. That Pam's daughter by accident let the Healy go through the washing machine and it still ran just fine after. So yeah, hey, it's one of those, I think everyone's done something like that at some point in their life, but that's, I'm happy to hear that she has no issues there.
That's kudos, definitely, for sure. Not always the case, but yay.
No, there's a lot of people that have done that and didn't have that result at the end. They had a
Yeah,
clean device, but not a working device. So.
exactly. Healy was never designed to be submerged at
Yeah, we
all.
don't have any waterproof rating on the Healy device itself. So.
Not even water resistant.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's different. Waterproof and water resistant are also
Mhm.
two different ratings. It's not water resistant either.
Yeah.
Okay. And I wear mine during all kinds of activities. I might be out, I don't know, doing something super physical and I'm just sweaty and I'm concerned, because it's, it's getting kind of moist.
Yeah.
So, all right. And I've counseled many folks who said that I did this, I dropped it in this water and I've this and that. And I created a little process of putting some clear tape over the ports and putting it into a baggie of rice for a certain period of time to try to pull out
Mhm.
but and sometimes it works, sometimes it does not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. What other questions we have? Are we caught up?
I think we are caught up as of right now, but I'm sure we'll get some more here soon.
And by the way, folks, if you find this this call useful, and I know we try to get as complete as we can, of course, want to make sure that we stick within the guidelines of Healy. And so if you find it valuable, definitely invite a friend. We try to be here every week. We weren't here last week, and that was just because it was the Orlando event.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of that, yeah, we had many people at the event that were fans of Tech Tip Tuesday, so it was nice to meet a lot of them in person and get the feedback that it's been very helpful for them. Not just people from the U.S. or Canada, but from Mexico as well. We had some people mention that they like the call too. So.
It's been, well, as far as you and I, Jake, we're going on our second year here together, right? And this was something that was created by another member in the field. We just kind of hey, let's see if we can do something here. And then corporate got on board, and now we've got a tech support person live. We got the head of operations here on this call. Come on, you guys, we got some great support. So we have solved, I don't know, I guess we probably solved hundreds of things, I would guess. And we've got hundreds of hours of content.
I'm a little bit behind on indexing all the questions for a different project we're working on, but I believe we're approaching 1,000 questions that we've answered on just since the beginning of last year. I think is when we started doing them on the YouTube channel. So
yeah, January 2022, I think it went live on the YouTube, right? So yeah, so over a year now, going on year number 2. So I feel fortunate to be able to be here and bring whatever knowledge I can. My background again is in electronics engineering, the technical engineering of things. So being able to bring that. I studied wave theory for a long time. Wave theory meaning frequency energy, which so this is right up my alley.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you, Dongmi, for putting some of these links here into the chat to Academy, to our Healy Americas page on YouTube as well. So these are, again, great resources for everybody. And Academy is one of these, we did a revamp of Academy recently, and there's going to be a lot of new content too as well coming out related to the official launch of the Analyse 2 app, which is coming up soon as well.
Excellent. Thank you. So we're getting a couple. Thank you, Sharon. I appreciate you both, she says. All the questions and the answers every week. It helps me to have a bigger picture of what I'm dealing with within the Healy world. And I'm learning lots, she says, all caps. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate that. Are there books that you can recommend? So when it comes to books, Carolyn McMakin has a great book out called The Resonance. Was it called? Resonance Effect? Resonance Effect.
Okay.
Yeah, Resonance Effect. Carolyn McMakin. And again, she's the helper in developing the MagHealy, right? So she's got some fantastic content into understanding what that means when we're talking about resonance, what we're talking about frequency, we're talking about the interface with these bodies. Fabulous book. I highly recommend it. And I think it's available in audiobook. So yeah, it is available in audiobook.
Yeah,
Okay.
and then it's that one's fairly easy to get because it is available on Amazon. But of course, there is another Marcus Schmika, you know, the creator of the Healy device itself and co-founder. So he has a book. It's called My Life in the Information Field, The Second Path. So that one is harder to get because it's mainly available over in Europe. But that's one to kind of seek out as well. And yeah, right. Yeah, Ray, I know. Help us get the Marcus book in North America. Yeah, we'll work on something there. We would like to be able to share that with more people as well. That was a giveaway at last year's homecoming event, not this year's. Ken, there you go. Ken's got it right there. So again, excellent book.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, if we can try to import some copies for everybody, it'd be cool to have that shop, by the way. I mean, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Hint.
Yeah.
All right. Izzy says, your calls are great. I don't think I missed one between May 2021 and just a few months ago. You know what? You are, I mean, I see you here, Izzy. Thank you for being here so much. One of our greatest fans, I think, and I'm so grateful for that. So thanks for being here so diligently.
Yep.
Bonnie says these calls are extremely helpful. Come on, you guys. I thank you very much. But where's your questions? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, come on. We got 6 minutes left.
We got 6 minutes there. No, thank you. I really do appreciate this. Believe me, it is the wind in my sails. Sometimes in those days, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm hurrying up. I got to get to Tech Tip Tuesday. Let's go.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to just keep putting us compliments in the chat for the next 6 minutes, that's fine.
I love it. I love it. Yeah.
Okay, lightning round of compliments. Here we go.
Woo! All right. Yeah, we'll save this chat for sure. Yeah. So, and Raymond's saying, help us get the Marcus book in the North America. Yeah.
We'll follow up on that. You know, we've kind of looked into things in the past. It hasn't quite worked out, but you know, it's something we still want to, you know, if possible, make available and make it easier to get here. So.
Yeah, you know, and Marcus has a lot of books. Not everything's in English though, and so he's got some great stuff. He's written so many great things. I mean, you remember his background is amazing. You know, his days of being a monk.
Yeah, and actually, for those of you that were at the homecoming event here in Orlando, Martina Kling, our global marketing director, did a segment where she mentioned plans for a future monthly segment or call with Marcus, where it'll be a sort of a deeper dive into the science behind the information field and all that kind of stuff coming up. So there's no dates yet as far as when that'll start, but it is in the works to have a monthly sort of episode, you know, kind of like we have Healy Horizon and the Resonance podcast, something to also with Marcus too.
Yeah, that's such a great asset to learn a little bit more. And I mean, he even played some music, didn't he? His talents on the keyboard, right? And singing, by the way.
Yeah.
At the Healy homecoming, he was performing. All right. So let's see. There's a question, Jake. What was the book author you mentioned of the resonance effect? So that's Carolyn McMakin. Carolyn McMakin.
Yeah, if you just Google the resonance effect book, you'll find it.
Yep. Okay, so here's a question. Is the history portion in the new app supposed to work? I find from 1 week to the next, there is not any entries. So I have to go back to, in order to find out what programs I ran earlier. So the history portion, in other words, like whatever scans you've done, it's not accumulating. Is that what you're saying? It's both, they should be there now. Have you deleted the app now? So is the beta part is still not saving to our cloud account though, correct? Jake?
Yeah, so that is one of the things. Yeah, this is the beta version. You know, once the full release comes in there, it's again the beta database is not the production database, and so that's why it's separate. And the plan is not to have those merged. So anything that's kind of being worked on right now isn't going to transfer over, but there is going to be the opportunity to transfer information from the current Analyze app into the production version of the new Analyze 2 app. There'll be an opportunity to do that, to merge that information as far as clients go and things like that once it's officially released.
And so Sharon, I hear you about the history portion in the new app. Is it supposed to work? Yes. So in other words, but it will not keep the data.
So the history, at least on my version, the history portion works, but you'll see it does it 1 week at a time. So you can kind of go back, and back, or you can just click on the dates themselves and you can scroll back to a specific date. If you don't want to keep clicking the back button, you want to go to a specific date, or of course it's brand new, so you're not going to go back to a different year yet. But you could in the future go back in time as well to check that.
Does that make sense, Sharon? You can there's different ways to go backwards in that.
Yeah, and once the Analyze 2 app is officially released, we'll do some more trainings and things like that. We'll do another Healy for Beginners and Beyond, where we take a sort of a deeper dive into some of the differences. We did a sneak peek back in beginning of February or April, I think it was. I think so. But yeah, we'll do some more, of course, once it is officially launched.
Yeah. All right. We're at the end of our hour, everybody. Thank you all for being here so much. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody, for your questions. You know, I love these calls when we can solve the mysteries. You know, sometimes we don't solve them all, but definitely, if you guys wish, save the chat. Remember how I said to do that? 3 little dots at the bottom of your screen. If you're on a PC or a computer, whatever, click on there. It'll save the links that have been put in the back. So in the background there, and all the questions. Thank you guys very much. Jake, thank you for being here.
Thank you,
I so much appreciate you.
Thank you, Dong-ni. Appreciate you helping out in the chat as always.
Yes, so much great stuff here. All right, guys, have a great evening, and we'll see you next week, huh? Bye for now.